Hello everybody, welcome to Asa Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already because I am less than 400 subscribers away from 50k on this channel, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like on this video to help it do better in the YouTube algorithm, and if you would prefer to listen to these videos on an audio platform, because other than seeing me, there's no real need for this to be a video. It's really just a short podcast. This is available on audio platforms under the name Rusty Recaps. I know it's on Spotify. I still haven't figured out what other platforms. I assume Apple Podcasts by now, but I don't know. But anyways, today, this game, I'm talking about Blazers versus Nuggets. Just finished watching this one. The Nuggets win 126 to 115, which means they have won the series. And it very much did not feel like that was going to be the case towards the start of this game. Because while Michael Porter Jr. opened up this game, I believe he had, what was it, 22 points in the first quarter? Something like that. I know he had 6 3-pointers. While he started off fantastic, nobody else in Denver's offense was really getting anything going. And because of that, it was like, I believe he had like 22 of the 27 first quarter points, somewhere in that ballpark. So that combined with Portland, I don't know why I can't talk right now. That combined with Portland having a really good start and really continuing to have great offense through the first like 2.5 quarters of this game. Because of that, the Nuggets found themselves down. Jokic wasn't really getting offense as easily, and really after Michael cooled down more in the second half, I don't know if he scored at all in the second half because he finished with 26 points. I don't know if he scored in the second half, but as that happened, Jokic started to turn it on, and really, while, credit to Michael Porter Jr. for being the scorer that he is, and he actually got 4 assists today, which is pretty fucking high for him. Really, the offense from Denver is at its best when Jokic is going off, and in the second half, while his first half was so-so, Jokic had 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. On 60% shooting, he hit a huge 3 over Nurkic. The hook shot late that kind of, as the Nuggets continue to get a lead, that shot really started to put it away. And I have to talk about the role players as well. Campazzo had a couple of big plays, but did he end up fouling out? No, he got 5 fouls, but he didn't play late. So he played well outside of the fouls. Aaron Gordon hit 2 for 2 from outside. He hit a step back, and he hit the 3 that was pretty much the dagger late in the game. And Monte Morris, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists on 50% from the field, 3 for 6 from outside. He hit a buzzer-beating off 1 foot floater 3 at the end of the third quarter. It might have been the end of it was the end of the third quarter. He was fantastic in this game, and he was fantastic the other game, and I think he's been pretty damn good throughout the entire series. I'm actually going to pull up his basketball reference just so that I can see what he has averaged for the series. Let me see. Playoffs. Not including this game, he averages 14 points, so that's going to go up to like 16 probably, and like 7 assists with this game accounted for, but it's not there yet. 39% from 3, good, just overall good efficiency. He's also just not prone to turnover. So him, as well as Austin Rivers, really stepped up in the wake of, not that sounds weird, stepped up in the absence of Jamal Murray, we'll say. They needed some offense and some guard play that would at least, at the very least, be competent, and they have given them that. So for that reason, I have to credit them. Austin Rivers had a big 3 late in this game. Monte Morris was just fantastic at keeping control of the game, being that pick and roll partner with Jokic. Previously, it was Jamal Murray. Really, he's just the guard who scores and creates off of the dribble that was previously Jamal. So good on them. On the Blazers side of things, Damian Lillard not quite as dominant as last game, not yesterday, which is fair because, it's not, you're not going to match a 55-point performance, typically speaking. He had 28 and 13, and I mean, he was fine. He didn't particularly stand out in the game. Like, the 28 and 13 is an impressive stat, but I'll tell you from watching the game that is like a whatever Dame game. Robert Covington was hitting his threes, which was huge. And CJ is interesting because he's had a lot of ugly moments, and I can't imagine his stats for this series. In fact, I'm going to look it up just because I'm curious. I can't imagine his season stats or his series stats are particularly great, but I do think people have been a tad harsh on him. Like, okay, 20 points, 4.5 assists, 6 rebounds on 44, 35, 82 splits. That's not the worst thing in the world. It's not terrible. He's had bad moments. He stepped out of bounds. He had a bad missed layup, a bad turnover, I believe, in this game. So, he deserves some shit, but I don't think it's quite to the level that he's getting. Like, I think he's getting overhated, over criticized. But regardless, I have a feeling that we're not going to be seeing Dame and CJ playing together again after this, because at the very least, I don't know that Terry Stotts makes it to midnight, because they need to fire his ass. That's obvious. So many times this team went to small ball, and not just because Nurkic was fouling out, which, by the way, he almost did again today, but also just the fact that they don't really have the best backup center option. But at the same time, I'd honestly rather have Enes Kanter guard Jokic than Robert Covington, even if Robert's not terrible at it. But just every time, as soon as Robert was the center, they were getting it to Jokic, and good things happened for the Nuggets pretty much every time because Robert Covington's just not big enough. Late, especially in overtime of that last game, Kanter was on Jokic. And I think part of this is just because Jokic was tired, but he played decent enough defense on him because at least, it's a big body. Jokic can outskill Kanter and his poor defensive awareness, but just purely physicaling someone out of the way, you can't really do that against Kanter. He could do that against Covington. And the amount of small ball they went to, just, again, there's so many things with Terry Stotts. Like the simple offense I mentioned this, I think, in game 4, I think I made this comment, like, I'm getting tired of watching the Blazers because it's like watching the same patterns repeat themselves. It's still the same foundation to this team of years ago when LaMarcus Aldridge left. The same general idea and play style and construction of the roster exists. The only difference is the role players that's around it. But regardless, it's the same thing, just a better version of the same thing at different times. The Blazers roster this year, I'd say, was about the best that it's been, and all I got was a first-round exit. So that's not good. I don't have too much more to say about this. Anthony Simons was good in this game. He had a good defensive play, hit his threes. He had 1 3 at the end of one of the quarters that was a big ass shot. I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, I also don't understand why Derek Jones Jr. didn't get minutes, but Rondae Hollis-Jefferson did. Lot of things for the Blazers to talk about, and might see a video on that tomorrow, or you might see a video on the Lakers tomorrow. It really depends on who wins that, if the Suns beat the Lakers tonight, because if they do, obviously I'm making a video on the Lakers. But if they don't, video tomorrow on the main channel will probably be about the Blazers. But yeah, that's all there really is to say. This is just pretty much the same thing as we've seen from this series in total. It was 2 teams trying to outshoot each other, and the Nuggets managed to succeed. It was kind of disappointing that Michael had the bad second half that he did, because it looked like he was about to drop a 50-point game. And I was in a locker room during the first half, and people were joking, like, Dame's playoff 3-point record is going to get broken the next game that he plays in. Did not happen, though, because he hit those 6 threes in the first quarter, and then that was all that he did from outside. So, yeah. That is the video, though. Again, subscribe to get the channel to 50K. That would be cool.